I got Grace. Good afternoon.
I'll go off.
From London. Hello, Grace. Can you hear me?
Hi,
Hello. How are you, Grace?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. I'm fine, thank you. Lovely. Thank you for coming to join the lesson today. Raymond is here.
Yeah.
Have you met Raymond before?
I heard his name, but I haven't said hello to him. Hi,
Oh,
Raymond.
okay.
Say hello. Hi, Grace. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Raymond is going to become a teacher soon, and so he's what he's doing is he's sitting in on some classes at the moment, just to sort of learn and see how things are really. So he's just sort of joining in. But I've only just started talking about photography because I was telling him that we had a great conversation the other day about your wonderful pictures of in Taipei and the Bay. So I found that really interesting, actually, talking with you about that. And I thought your photographs were great. But so that's what I suggested, actually, to Hector, that we could talk about photography today. And so that's how the subject matter came about. But I'll just go back a bit. But basically, what I've got for you is, well, 10 of the most famous photographers of all time and their work. But also I've got some of my own work because I told you I was a photographer.
Yeah.
And I picked up a few. Well, it's funny. What I'll do is I'll show some of these photographs, but I can show you some of my fashion photographs as well.
Okay.
I thought you might find that interesting.
Yes.
But also I'd love to know your opinion on these images, because some of them are quite powerful, I think, and they bring up emotions. The first one is I'll just rewind slightly. It's by a American photographer, and now this image of the lady, tell me what you see. Tell me what it makes you feel, for instance. Can you tell me anything about the photo?
Desperate. Sad.
Yes, it's a great word you've just used. I will put that in the Google chat. You said desperate, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, desperate. Yeah, and obviously sad as well. Yeah, I mean, she is. Let me just go back to it. Yeah, and shall I tell you a little what I know about the photograph? The photographer was a lady called Dorothea Lange, and she was a documentary photographer.
Yeah.
Like and as opposed to a sort of editorial narrative photographer. Also, 2 Ds in there. Sorry, just get rid of that. Editorial or a narrative, photographer. She basically went and documented situations that were happening in America in the 1920s and 30s. And I expect there was a Great Depression. Do you know about this? A Great Depression in, well, it started with the Wall Street crash. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Oops. My typing is appalling today. Sorry, apologies. Sorry. The Wall Street crash, which took place in 1929.
Yeah,
and
1929.
Where they basically lost, the stocks and shares lost lots of money.
Yes.
And people were very, very demoralized. Lots of industries shut down. And I think in the middle of America, lots of industries and farming communities lost their money and they had to move to try and move out. They lost their farms and they had to move out to try and get into the cities. And as far as I remember from reading about this photograph, this lady and her children, had lost everything, as you
Oh.
said. And so exactly there, and I think also there's another quality she has, which is obviously, you know, the word melancholy. You know this word?
I don't know. Melon.
Okay. Melancholy is a great word. Melancholy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a great word. It's a great word. It's quite an old-fashioned word.
Yeah, it's a
Melancholy. It's a feeling of,
melancholy.
yeah, of pensive. It's pensive sadness.
Yeah, very rare to hear these words.
Yes, I have to say I do use quite creative words because just it's my background, I think, in the arts, and I like, you know, I look at images a lot, but I would say pensive sadness.
Pensive.
Pensive sad. I don't know how to play that.
Pensive sadness.
And I don't know if you can see the.
Yeah, I understand. Yes. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, there is that quality.
Recently, I know the news that in United States due to COVID, 30% small company they cannot go back to work. So
Very true.
Lots of people they lost the job, so they are forced to move away from the big city like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. So it's pretty much close to this.
It's the same feeling, yes. And funnily enough, in England as well. I mean, there are many companies that have collapsed, they've become bankrupt.
I know. And the restaurant, I think lots of restaurants.
Yes, many. You know this word, bankrupt.
Yeah, bankrupt. Because recently the stock market is too hot.
Yes, yes, you're right. It has been too hot. And I think it's also, there was a property boom, you know, like a property boom, which increased prices and landlords kept the rents. I mean, they were saying even today on the radio in London that students have had to pay for their university accommodation, but they haven't been at university. So the landlords have made them pay for an apartment they're not even in. The students are at home with their parents and they're paying for the accommodation.
I know they have to pay the deposit, to sure they will live in, right?
Yes, but not just the deposit. Sometimes they have to pay the rent. And so some landlords have taken 6 months rent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 6 months rent from the students.
I know they cannot afford the house is empty.
Yeah, and they can't. The students are suffering because yeah, it's an interesting thing. But let's go back to the picture because the next one is quite an interesting picture, and I'll tell you a story about the next one.
Robert. This is very famous.
It's a very famous picture by Robert Doisneau, who is a French photographer, and called The Kiss, obviously called The Kiss. And it's so very popular. It's very well, it's so popular. I can show you something if I can just get it. I had it on the screen a moment ago, but I'll just get a new page up and I'll show you another image, which is connected to this, if I can. My screen, unfortunately, I had it up earlier. My screen crashed. So we'll see if I can get it up. Hang on. Now, can you see this image?
Yes. Which one?
This one here of the boy and girl kissing. And here, and it's in Carnaby Street in London. Can you see? It's a color picture.
Yeah.
And lots of, well, that is one of my photographs.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, you make the background is blurred.
Blurry, yes, because it had movement. I wanted it to have movement. So the
Mhm.
idea is that their world stopped for the kiss,
Uh-huh.
and then all the movement was around them. And
That is, well, that's nice. That's really
and
nice.
it was for a campaign. Yes, it was for a campaign for Carnaby Street, which is an area of, oh, I'll just put it in. It's a famous area in London. You might be.
On the B Street, yes, I've been there before.
Oh, okay. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Well, you know it. Well, I know the PR company,
Oh, okay.
the PR company.
Ooh, what kind
well-
of camping they are doing?
Well, they look after all the
Volunteer? No,
Um,
Valentine's
well-
Day.
no, well, that was for Valentine's Day. Yes, that photograph was for Valentine's Day.
Ooh,
And
romantic.
yeah, it was, but what was interesting, it was part of an idea they had where I would photograph people who came down to kiss in Carnaby Street. So that was the first picture I took. And then the next weekend, anyone who came down and wanted to kiss in Carnaby Street, I took their photograph. And then it became an exhibition. So it was fun. It was great fun to do. I really enjoyed it.
Do you have to like get their permission to get them?
Yes, yes. The
Oh.
idea was that, well, also because I was taking the photographs, they would have we had an exhibition. So I did very big prints, and so they got given their photographs, which is great. And so anyone who wanted to come down, but I took a lot of photographs over 2 weekends, I remember, and it was fun. And
that is lovely.
yeah, it became an exhibition for Carnaby Street and for the people on the Valentine's Day. But that so this, I'll just get rid of that picture. But this was yeah, it was the same, and the idea was inspired, as you say, by this very famous photograph by Robert Doisneau of the kiss in Paris. I think it was taken in about 1950.
That is still a film picture.
But interestingly, I believe this isn't a natural photograph. This isn't a documentary. It was a setup. He did get the couple to do several, yeah. So
really?
Even though, yes, I believe so. I think I think he did a few, because if you look, it's so perfect in composition. And I think, there are several photographers from this period who created great work, but it's not always natural. The most famous, which I think is here, is Robert Capa, which may be here, but we'll go on. I'd be interested to see what you think. This is great. That went very fast. That was obviously the first flight. I think
yes,
it was
the brothers.
Yes, the Wright brothers. The Wright. Yeah, it's a funny name, isn't it? The Wright brothers. But I think actually, because this is Lartigue who took this. I think it's in France. So I think it might be Blériot. There was another man, a French aeronaut, early, called Blériot, who crossed the English Channel. Not Chanel, but the English Channel, who flew across the English Channel, I think. And I think, I'm not sure, because it doesn't say, but I think it might be Blériot. But let's go on and see what else there is. Oh, it's jumped a few.
Edward Henry.
Yeah, this is great. He's an American photographer. And can you guess what this is?
This is a
Sculpture.
sculpture.
A sculpture. Well, it looks like a sculpture, but I'll tell you what I think it is, because I know. Have another look. It's also clever because I think it's supposed to look like a human body, isn't it? Like a sort of amorphous, is a great word actually. I'll write this up.
Yeah, l'amour. But
Amorphous. I'm probably spelling it wrong. Amorphous.
amorph.
It's a sort of, let's have a look. Amorphous.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a great word actually.
Amorphous.
Amorphous.
Without a clearly defined shape or form,
Mhm.
which it is if you look, isn't it? Because it's like, you can't tell exactly what it is.
But it looks like a human body.
It does, exactly. But do you know, it's really
And-
funny. I think I know what this is, but it's actually not a human body. It's not a sculpture. I'll tell you what it is. It's a pepper.
It's a fruit.
Yeah, or a pepper, like a bell pepper.
Oh, paper. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's a green bell pepper. I think
Okay.
it's a green pepper. You know,
绿椒. Okay.
yeah,
okay.
I think when you look at it, can you see it's like just a misformed green
Yeah,
pepper?
yeah. If you
As
say
far as
that,
I remember,
yeah. It's like a vegetable.
a vegetable, yeah. But he also actually, Edward Weston, photographed some amazing bodies as well. So I think this was part of a whole mixture of pictures where he used the body and then he used other things that looked like the body as well. I think so.
That's very clever.
Yeah, it's
Our-
beautiful, isn't it? Because it
He
shows.
He used the light and shading to make
Yes.
it like a sculpture.
A sculpture, yeah, exactly. He used it. It looks like a really good sculpture. I mean, it looks like something from a big exhibition.
Yes, yes.
You know, which is very clever. But this is quite an old photograph as well. I think it was taken about well, probably almost 100 years ago.
Oh, so
Yeah, so it was a great
in
photographer.
that circumstance, at that timing, they can took this kind of photo. That is amazing.
Yeah, very good. A very good photographer.
Mm.
Who's this?
Walker Evans.
Walker Evans. Yeah. It's interesting because Walker Evans was similar to Dorothea Lange. He photographed a lot of people in their natural homes and habitats in America. I think what he did was he drove all the way across America. And I think this woman it's a strange title. I think she was a sharecropper. It's a job. It's a sort of
Oh, okay.
yeah, I don't know if it will come up as a translation. No, it won't.
Yes, it is. I don't.
I think she was either a sharecropper or she lived on a very small farm. Or because what he did was he drove in a car across America and photographed a lot of sort of places in the countryside that were very deserted. And I think this is one of the pictures from that series. The pictures are often quite lonely.
Yeah.
You know, they're very quiet and still and lonely. And you can feel the tension. I think you can feel the tension. The tension in the lady's mouth.
Yeah, it closed.
It's sort of like that held quality. Contained, I would say. It's a word to use it. It's a strange word to use to describe something, but in an artistic way, I would say she looks contained. I don't know if it's a good description of that here. No, they
Contained.
Yeah,
But it
I
means
understand.
like sort of held in,
Uh-huh.
like
She has the expression that she's not happy, the life is heavy, and there is
yes,
nothing she can hope.
yes, no hope. Yeah, exactly. It's hopeless, in fact.
Yeah,
Hopeless, I think is,
yeah,
yeah,
hopeless.
hopeless. Yeah, you're right. That's great, Grace. That's really a good description.
Hopeless. Yes.
But also
In her
she's,
eyes, you can tell from her eyes because
yeah,
the photo difficult of this to taking this photo is how can you get the expression on the human being face, because she has to know defense, she has to just look at the camera without any thinking, and
yes.
so
And
she
yeah, and also in this time, which is interesting because photography was still, I mean, this is also a very old image.
I know.
I
So
think in the past that at that time, if usually you took a picture, people would smile and automatically smile because that's how they, but he took these photographs in such a way that the people were very real. They were being very real in them. You know, so she didn't put on a face. She was just being herself.
yes.
And as you say, showing her true emotions in
And
the art.
showing the emotion to a stranger, that is difficult.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. Very true. Let's go.
So I like to take the picture in when people they don't even notice I'm taking the picture.
Exactly. Oh, it's a great word for that. Actually, I'll just write it, which is I don't know if you know this word. Oops. I'm spelling it right. Oh, so I put an extra I in there. I've spelled it wrong. Surreptitious? No, maybe I'm spelling it wrong. Surreptitious.
Oh,
No, that's right. Surreptitious. Yeah, let's have a look. I'll get it. It's a great word. Secretive.
yeah, it's
Surreptitious.
it's
It's
a
like
it's a difficult word.
yeah, it's a complex word because it's kept secret. Surreptitious. Surreptitious. Yeah, surreptitious. And you could say surreptitiously he took the picture, sort of secretly. Or maybe he was like just held the camera there and was talking to her. Said, you know, oh, so you're live, and then he just went click, you know, and without going up to his face. So maybe that's why. Yeah. I'll move on. Let's have a look. Robert Frank.
Robert.
I don't know much about this picture. That's quite a strange picture. I do not know this picture.
I do not know either.
No, I do not know this picture. I don't know what it's about. It's quite mysterious. I'll have to look that up and then I'll tell you about it, but it looks quite frightening. And it's got something to do with election day, I think.
Oh, maybe. This day is the flag.
Yeah, the flag, but it's the lady looks really upset and depressed. I don't know. We'll go on because I think it's a difficult photograph to talk about. Let's see this next. Andre Cortez. I love this picture. Andre Cortez.
Andre Cortez.
He was, I think, originally Hungarian, but this picture was taken in Paris. And she is a cabaret performer. And I bet you know this word, cabaret. You know the word cabaret. Cabaret.
Oh, okay, cabaret. Okay.
Cabaret.
Also, in 1920 to 1930, there's a lot of cabaret poster.
exactly, yes, all the beautiful posters, and there's very
Yes,
famous
it's
people
famous. I
Like-
know.
like Josephine Baker. I don't know if you've ever heard
Yeah.
the performer.
Yes,
Josephine
I
Baker.
know her. I know her.
They're very beautiful, very exciting. And this was a performer, a cabaret performer. But I think what's amazing about this picture is the comparison between her arms and legs and then the sculpture.
Oh,
It's like there is a parallel, the shape.
uh-huh.
It's like, as you say, it's very sculptural. It's very sculptural, this picture, I think. What do you think? Do you like it?
It's yeah. Oh, the color, especially because it's black and white. So
Mm,
her arms, her leg, the color is the same as the sculpture.
yes.
So the design, the shape, the way she put his arm, his leg, it's
It's-
just like this.
Yeah, exactly. And also
So it's a reflection, something.
the color also, it's a special color he used, and they used it on these pictures, and it's called sepia. It's sepia.
Oh, sepia.
Yeah, sepia. It's a sort of reddish brown.
I know, because we have the dyes in this word.
Color, exactly. But it was used in photography, and also I used it in my photography. What
Mm.
you would do is you would make a black and white photograph, and then you'd put it into a bath
Uh-huh.
of chemicals, and it would bleach away, and then you take it out, wash it, put it into another bath, and it would go brown.
Oh,
It would make all the white areas, the pictures, very luminous. I expect you know the word luminous.
Mm.
Luminous.
yes.
Luminous, to be like the moon,
Mhm.
very bright. And it also made the shadows darker. And I think that's what he's done, because you can see the brown.
Yeah, on the wall.
Yeah, and then also
The
she is very
sofa.
she is white. She's very like white, and then the black is very dark. I think it's a beautiful photograph. And also I think it's the woman is very free, if you think, because at that time, remember, before then, maybe 5 years before, women had long hair. She has got short hair.
Mhm.
She's dancing. She's also lying on a sofa. She's smiling. It's quite a liberated picture.
Yes,
for
it
women.
is.
She's a liberated woman, I think.
I think that is.
I love this picture. It's by Henri Cartier-Bresson, who is a French photographer, a street photographer, a very, the word reportage. I'm sure you know this word. Reportage.
A reportage.
It's a sort of French word, but
Reportage.
we use it. The reporting of news for the press, and he often just went and took pictures in the street very quickly. And if you look, it's a wonderful picture because it says so much. This little boy has got 2 big bottles of beer, and he's very proud of himself.
Yeah, I can tell, because if you look at him, you will smile and
Yeah,
without
you will.
even
Yeah,
think.
but also it comes from a time, I think, where in those days you could go to the local pub, and they would fill your bottles with beer from a tap. So I think these are being filled ready from bottles.
So he is carrying the bottle of wine back to her house.
Home, yes, to his home, yes, to his home, to his family. And it's a big responsibility.
Okay.
Because he mustn't smash these. So he's very grown up.
Yeah,
You know, he's
I can
acting like
tell.
I'm the man of the house.
Uh-huh.
And also the girls around him in the background like going, wow, he's so important, this boy, because he's carrying the beer.
Uh-huh.
And it's just a joyous picture. Also, interestingly, he's very young, but he looks old in a way, which is quite sad as well. If you look, he doesn't have a rich life, this boy. He comes from
Uh-huh.
a very, I would say, a very working class family.
Uh-huh.
And if you look at his clothes, and I think it's a beautiful photograph, a very beautiful photograph. He's a great photographer.
He has this face.
Yes, he does. Yeah. He has a bit of that. That's a good picture. Yeah, that's a very good picture. Yeah, it's but probably this boy is probably about 8, even though he's little. I would say he's
Yeah.
8 or 9. Yeah, but because the children were quite small in the poor areas of Paris. There's an area in the north of Paris called Saint-Ouen, which I know, and I think it might be taken in that area.
Oh,
I'll go on. It's a great picture.
oh, by the way, the previous one, the ladies, I
Yes.
think the age is like Great Gatsby, that age.
Great Gatsby.
Right?
Yes, it is quite Great Gatsby. Yes, it is. I love the Great Gatsby.
Yes.
And I have done a photo shoot based on the Great Gatsby myself, actually.
Oh,
A magazine. Yeah, on my website, I think there is. It maybe is on my website, the Great Gatsby shoot. Yeah, I haven't got any pictures here, but the ones I'm going to share with you in a minute, I'll share one of my fashion images with you. Yeah, because I know we're going along a bit in time. But... Now, this picture is very, very famous. It was taken during the Spanish Civil War.
Oh,
and, yeah.
I never saw it before.
No, it's very famous by Robert Capa. Spanish Civil War. And yeah, it's the, in 1936. And basically it shows the moment of death when a soldier has been shot.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very famous. He's holding a rifle. You can't really see the rifle, but he's holding a rifle. And when this picture came out, people were very shocked. I think they considered the first, photograph of someone being shot and about to die. And it went all over the world. But what's interesting is this photograph is possibly fake news.
Oh. Because
about 40 years afterwards, they looked at the negatives of Robert Capa's picture. Mm-hmm. And the soldier, there's other photographs of the soldier getting up afterwards on the line of film. So it's possible it was a sort of rehearsed picture, again, a composed, but at the time, everyone thought it was a real photograph. And I think it's still in dispute. I mean, I think Capa might have said, oh no, he got up before and then he went back and was shot again. But it's a very powerful image, very powerful. It's either way, it's a very powerful image, anti-war image. Number one is, oh yeah, I think this is Yosemite. Now this photographer is a great photographer for you to look up. His name is Ansel Adams. You can't tell how beautiful, sorry, I'll just roll it back. Ansel Adams.
Adams.
Yeah, it's worth you looking up him because your landscapes and your cityscapes, what you can't tell from these photographs was Ansel Adams went to the wilderness of America, to big unexplored places. And he used a very, very big camera, not like a little, he used a massive plate camera. And the quality of the images, which you, when you see them online, is phenomenal. It's incredible. The detail, you can look and look and look and look and look, and he photographs skies a lot, like you were photographing skies.
Mhm.
And they're wonderful photographs. I have to say, before I'd seen them in an exhibition, I was like, oh, they're nice, they're good, you know. But when I saw them, and they were so big, and I was like,
Oh.
wow. And then I saw an image of the camera, and he used it's called a plate camera. It's a
Plate.
yeah, a plate camera. I don't know if it will let me tell you exactly what that is, but it's no, it won't. But it's like the size of the negative, the film negative. It is about this big. I think it's like a 12-16 negative.
12.
So 16, yeah. So the negative is big. So when he blew up afterwards, the detail was incredible.
Oh, okay.
Really, and also he photographed sometimes at night, like you did, but with very slow exposures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so very sometimes like a minute in the night, and so you see all the stars. It's like majestic, I think is the word I would use. Majestic, yeah. Majestic.
Is the plate camera with the flash? How can
no flash.
Majestic.
Yeah, it's just a big still camera on a tripod, you know, a tripod, you know, like it has legs.
Oh, okay.
It has legs.
Okay.
Like I'll try and get an image up.
Right? It's similar to an X-ray machine, isn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah, well, sort of, yeah, Raymond, yeah, a bit like that. I'll try and just get an image up and show you.
iPad, I know, because now the
Large plate camera. Yeah, it does. Raymond's right in a way. It does look a bit like. It looks a bit like. Yeah, they're not plate cameras. I can tell you that much. It looks a bit like this. Yeah, can you see down the bottom?
yeah.
But really, really big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's from the old movie though.
Yeah, but it's a still camera, and he had to, and they weigh a lot. They're heavy, and he had to carry this camera into the middle
mountain.
of the mountains to photograph them.
That is big work.
Yeah, and also there was you had to carry each negative in a separate box. So he maybe could only take 3 photographs for one night.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's lots of work.
Yeah, lots of work, and then it could go wrong, you know, because you would develop the negatives and in the chemicals. So that was his sort of work, wonderful work, really, really wonderful work. I'll quickly show you one of my photographs, just one of my fashion photographs, if I can.
Okay, okay.
I just got one because I know we've gone over a bit. Let me just get the screen up and see if I can share it. I did have it up on the. Yeah, this is, well, I can actually I can share. I'll share this little group of pictures. Oops. Now I don't know if you can see. Oh, I've got more than one picture there for some reason. I've got 5 pictures. Let's get rid of that.
You have a right blood, the airplane.
Yes, well, this is a shoot from a magazine, and from maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and it was photographed. It was shot at a old airport, a very old airport in England. So this is real. It's like an Art Deco airport.
It's nice.
And yeah, it was meant to look like the 20s and 30s. I don't know if I can zoom in a bit for you. Maybe I can just zoom in a bit so you can see a bit more of the images. So the girl has very 1920s hair.
Yes, I like the hair.
Yeah, the word is Marcel wave. I think we used a Marcel wave. and we had a plane. We had a real plane, but they weren't allowed to go up in the plane. But also I did a lot of digital retouching to make them all look perfect afterwards, because the airport was quite old. And
yeah, the light on the left side is nice.
yes, it was very dramatic, very like old Hollywood. Old,
Exactly.
that was the style. That was the style for the shoot. It was old Hollywood, but it was a fashion shoot for the magazine. So these were all new clothes. They look old, but they were new.
Well,
new
you know,
clothes.
fashion, they return like every 30 years. So
Oh,
it's not
yes. Well, I think really every 20 minutes sometimes. Yeah. So so I'll stop sharing that. But
That's lovely.
thank you very much.
That's
Thank you.
terrific, Grace. It's
Thank
really
you.
terrific.
Yeah, well, it's interestingly, I can tell you actually one thing about this, that this this outfit, some of the clothes came from Ralph Lauren, because I had a good relationship with the press office. And this,
What about the bag that lady carried?
the bag, yeah, that was a very, I have to tell you, this was a very expensive bag.
Have you ever been to a showroom in New York, Ralph Lauren showroom?
No, I've been to these showrooms in London, and
The one in New York is like a mansion on
yeah,
Fifth Avenue.
well,
I mean,
in London, the press office, because obviously I used to go to the press offices, but the this is Ralph Lauren, and this sweater, this cardigan was Ralph Lauren.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great word, cardigan. I'll put it in the Google.
I know cardigan. I know cardigan.
You know the word. But interestingly, Ralph Lauren liked this shoot so much, they actually wrote to me and they put it into their archive, and they presented me with this sweater, this cardigan, as a present.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
yeah, and hang on 1 second. I won't be 1 second.
I used to be in the menswear industry.
Oh, really? I'm in the textile industry.
Which one?
And I still have it.
Sportswear.
Textile?
Here is the cardigan.
Wow, amazing.
And
Amazing.
the crazy thing is, I have to tell you about this cardigan. I have never worn it because,
Why?
well, because I always kept it as a special thing.
Oh,
And, but also it cost so much money, I discovered. It was probably more valuable than any other piece in my wardrobe. And I mean, I won't tell you how, I discovered how much it cost after they gave it to me. And I was like, wow, that is a very, very expensive cardigan. But I love it. And I keep it as a sort of memento of my work. But no, it was a lovely shoot. And the people were very friendly at the airport, very helpful. And the man who owned the plane was really lovely. And the models, the fashion models said, "Oh, can we go in the plane?" And I was like, "No, we have no insurance." So they couldn't go in the plane. So all the shots with the plane, well, the boy is sitting in the plane, but we didn't go in the up in the air. So he's just sitting in the plane. And the girl, and the same with the girl, I constructed the shot of the girl in the plane. You know, I manipulated it and used photos.
Okay.
So it looked really cool. But anyway, that just
looks like something out of an Agatha Christie movie.
That's right. It was a bit sort of, you know, yeah, it was very, very, I love doing the shoot. But I do quite creative shoots. I don't know if I can, I'll just get one more up. I'll try and just show you quickly. Oh no, I can't actually, because I've put them down. But
it's like the old Pan Am airport in New York at LaGuardia Airport.
Oh yes, I've heard of that. Yes,
it's really stunning. It's beautiful.
I love using interesting buildings or architecture in my shoots. Well, I think I'm looking at the time, guys. Thank you so much. I think we've gone over on the time, Grace. But thank you so much, Grace.
it's a nice class. It's the most lovely class I have never had.
Oh,
Hey,
thank
Grace,
you.
thank you so much, Grace, for letting me
Thank you,
come in.
Raymond. Thank you. Thank you.
No, Grace, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank
We'll
you for your
talk
hard work.
more. We'll talk more about other subjects, you know, and yeah, so that's lovely. Have a lovely evening, Grace. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And Raymond, really good to meet you, Raymond.
Thank you. Good to meet you also.
I'll
Nice
speak
to
to you
meet
all soon.
you.
Have a
Thank you,
nice
Grace.
evening,
You
everyone.
too.
Bye now.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.